The Gallipoli legend was born on this day 96 years ago when Australian soldiers landed in Turkey. Of course, the details of that disastrous campaign have been well documented. But it's the personal stories in letters home that show the full extent of the horror. Martin Cudahy reports on one family's discovery of their ANZAC legacy.
Viv, Ray and Ned Searle fought in the war to end all wars.
The Searle brothers were my great-uncles, and they came from a small town in northern Tasmania called Westbury, where my mother was born.
They left Westbury in 1915 and wrote about life on the front line in letters, poems and diary entries.
Poor Mum and Dad were quite broken up over Viv and I going. It was the most awful time I've ever had to go through.
Even now, when I reread my own book or the letters and diaries, I become choked up.
The letters came to light 20 years ago. The grandson of one of the diggers, Craig Searle, rescued them from a woodshed.
I took them, I didn't really look at them that afternoon. I took them home, sat down on the lounge room floor, and 3 hours later I was still there pouring through these letters. And I realised just what a story it was and what a wonderful find it was.
The letters were passed around the family, and now the remarkable story of the Searle brothers has been revived in a book published by the boys' great-nephew, author Stephen Dando Collins.
Because it was family, I resisted it because there was both the light and the dark, the good and the bad coming through. And it was 20 years before I actually sat down to write it as a book.
More than 90 years ago in Westbury, Viv Searle was the quiet brother, his mum's favourite. He wanted to become an Anglican minister. But duty called and he volunteered. He was among the first wave ashore at Gallipoli.
They poured fire into us as fast as they could use their machine guns and rifles. Then their artillery, and we got a taste of shrapnel. But we reached those hills.
Viv Searle was wounded when a shell landed right in front of him, losing all feeling in his shoulder and arm. But he soldiered on and was soon joined at the front by his older brother, Ned Searle.
He was 26 and he was a total larrikin, a real Aussie larrikin. A girl chaser, hard swearing, hard drinking, hard gambling, typical Australian.
But the two brothers spent little time together at Gallipoli. Viv Searle was killed when a sniper's bullet ricocheted off a periscope. Shortly before he died, he wrote a letter to his sister.
I must say goodbye now. God be with you till we meet again, is the prayer of your loving brother.
It's almost as if he knew that he wouldn't be writing to her again. This comes through so often in the stories of soldiers.
At 19, Ray Searle was the youngest of the boys and excited by the prospect of war. He joined his older brother on the Western Front, where Ned Searle had been posted after Gallipoli.
We've come out of some of the heaviest fighting there's been yet, I suppose, and I came out without a scratch. Goodness knows how.
Ray Searle left the front for a time to recover from trench foot.
There is nothing to worry about with me, for I shall soon be well again and hope to be back with you all before next Christmas.
But Ray Searle didn't come home. He was killed when a shell landed on his trench at Flanders in August 1917. Ned Searle was the only brother to survive. He returned a decorated hero after capturing a German machine gun detachment. But war had taken its toll on the Searle family, and it wasn't a happy homecoming. Ned's mother once told her granddaughter that the wrong son came home.
She was shattered, and she blamed the government and she blamed the brother who came home for the loss of the apple of her eye.
So now the once private family story has been made very public.
It's great that a story of three pretty ordinary blokes from a ordinary little Tasmanian country town, people can read about it. I think the thing people need to realise is that this isn't an unusual story in Tasmania or Australia.